This is about the psychology of disputes and dealing with emotions. Hi, my name's Chris. I'm a specialist litigation solicitor. I own and run Christopher Burgon Solicitors. We're a specialist litigation and commercial law firm. We help business owners win disputes. I've been a solicitor for more than 25 years, dealing with litigation matters throughout that time. And there's one thing I know, if there's one thing I know, it's that dealing with disputes involves dealing with a lot of very difficult emotions. I've also learned that if you can deal with these emotions well, if you can control your emotions, which most of us are pretty good at doing, if we can recognize when our emotions are affecting the decisions we make, which some of us aren't so good at, and if we can make sure that we're dealing with issues on a sound, rational, commercial basis, that's a massive step forward to getting what you want out of a dispute and getting the right result. What kind of emotions are we talking about? Well, the first one is obviously anger. If somebody rips you off, you're going to feel really pretty angry about it. But also you might be feeling pretty hurt because we go into business with the people that are close to us, our friends, our family. If you find out that someone close to you, even someone you've just known in a professional context, is letting you down, then that's really pretty upsetting. You're also going to be feeling pretty anxious and pretty fearful because you recognise that the situation as it currently stands can't continue, and you may not know how to change it, and you may not know what the future's going to look like. You've got all this maelstrom of emotions inside you: anger, hurt, fear, fearfulness. What are the signs that you're not dealing well with these emotions? Well, the first one is inaction. You know that something not right is happening in your business, but you're not doing anything about it. It's a perfectly natural response to have. If there's something in front of us that we don't know how to deal with, it's a natural tendency just to concentrate on what we do know. So even though you know that someone's ripping off the company, you may just still be carrying on doing the day-to-day things as you've always done. The second sign that you're maybe not dealing with the emotions so well is if you're in a state of denial. How do you spot if you're in denial? Well, if somebody's shouting at you, if somebody's lying to you, if somebody's taking money out of the company when you know they shouldn't, and you're doing nothing about it, then it could be that you're in a state of denial, pretending that it's not happening. You may even find yourself trying to excuse the behaviour. Someone's shouting at you in a meeting, you'll say they're under a lot of stress. If someone's taking money out of the company without permission, you may say, well, they're skint, they need the money, they have a large family. Even worse than that, you may convince yourself it's a good idea. People shouting in board meetings means that they're no longer boring. People taking money out of the company, that just shows how creative and enterprising they are. What else? Well, you may be blaming yourself as well. You may be saying things like, only I would have trusted this person, or only I would have found myself in a situation like this. If you find yourself in a business where you know that something isn't right, you know that you're being ripped off, and you're denying that there's a problem or trying to excuse the problem, you're blaming yourself and not doing anything about it, then you need to change that. The first step is to recognize that actually you're doing it. The second step is to actually do something positive to change that situation. After 25 years, I don't think I've met anyone who really likes the idea of being in conflict with one other person, and people will go to amazing lengths to avoid a conflict. About 10 years ago, there was a chap who came to my office, very intelligent chap, used to work in the city in a financial institution. He told me a story about his business owner ripping him off for £500,000, and he was in tears when he was telling me about the effect it had on his family. We sat down, we went through the possible scenarios for him. We came up with a way where he could recover some of the money and change the situation, but he didn't want to know about any of it. He walked out of the room saying, I'll give him one more chance. Instead of sticking up for his family and trying to recover some of the money he'd lost, he would rather put up with that situation just to avoid a conflict. Don't be like that person. We've been dealing with people involved in disputes for years and years, and we have an absolute wealth of experience. Part of the service that we provide is not only to advise you about the law and the technical issues, it's to recognise that these are very difficult issues personally. And we will help you concentrate on the matter and make wise, rational commercial decisions. We even have a psychotherapist on staff for when things get really tough, and that's free of charge. So if you find yourself in a dispute and you're struggling to deal with it, then please come to us.